Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm ForClassic and welcome to WRC 9, a game developed by Kiloton, and it is using their in-house technology called Kitty Engine. So Kiloton are the developers of all the WRC series since the 5th game, so they developed WRC 5, 6, 7 and 8. Also TT Isle of Man, and they even developed the Flatout 4. So let's take a look on the settings. So I'll be playing at 720p minimum settings. Minimum because you can put the game on low and you can still disable shadows and particles, which looks weird. And the post-processing, it is entirely on minimum. So for the minimum requirements, this guy specified that the minimum it is a GTX 651 gig. So I'm not really entirely sure where the GT 740M or the GT 920M matches this desktop GPU, but we will discover that now with the results. And so yeah, probably it doesn't really match that graphic card, because with these minimum settings at 720p, my average was 31 frames per second, and there was still drops below that to 27. So I had to tweak a little bit the game so I could get an extra performance. So this game have a dynamic resolution built in, which allows you, the game allows itself to drop the resolution on fly depending on the frame rate, and it is automatic, but it is defined to be 90% of resolution scaling by default every time your game goes under 30 frames per second. So I discovered that on the config file, and I decided to make some changes that will help you out. So what you need to do, it is essentially this. You need to go to your you need to go to your document, and you need to search for the folder called My Games. It should be in your language, alright? And search for WRC9, and there is a file called user settings.config. Open it with a WordPad or anything like it, a text editor that you have, and search for something related with minimum resolution scale. So as you can see, by default it is set to 0.9, so the only thing you need to do it is to set to 0.5. so what this does exactly, it is to allow the game to scale down the resolution to 50% of the resolution that you have when the game goes under 30 frames per second, and it does this automatically, so you can get all the time frame rate above 30 frames per second, unless of course you have other limitations, or for some reason if the game even with 0.5 it isn't enough and still drops, but still it provides you a much better experience, as you could see on the results, because with these tweaks the game was obviously always above 30 frames per second, and without this tweak there was drops under 30, which makes all the difference in this game. Honestly, after playing in better PCs, the way that I think that the frame rate affects in this game, it is huge, because playing at 60 frames per second makes a huge difference in this game, and also consoles also play at 30 frames per second, which I think it's a little bit sad, because this game really deserves 60 to be played with, with all the enjoyment and all the simulation stuff going on, because it really feels that 30 frames per second it isn't really cutting for this game. But if consoles players are actually able to play this at 30 frames per second, the reality it is that you can also and the question is, can you run this game on a GT 740M or a GT 920M? Well, yes, you can do it, and I do recommend you to do that tweaking over there. Just put the game on minimum settings. It looks ugly though. There is no shadows, there is no particles at all, everything it is on the minimum side, so it is just kind of awful, but it could be worse, honestly, but it is playable, and that's the point. So if you really care a lot about the WRC series, here we go, you can play it on these graphic cards. But now let's talk a little bit now about the game, shall we? WRC 9 doesn't change that much from WRC 8, and honestly I'm not really a fan of this gameplay. I'm probably more in line with the Codemasters work, alright, I do love Dirt Rally, but still I'm not saying that WRC 8 or 9 it is bad. It is a good game, but gameplay wise, if you are kind of adept, or I don't know, if you always play Dirt or Dirt Rally, which are very different games though. Dirt Rally, it is a full simulation game. If you always play Dirt Rally and you are going to jump to WRC, you are going to notice a big difference in, well, physics. Alright, that's mostly the biggest thing. The biggest difference, it is really the physics, and I can't really enjoy WRC because on my mind I keep comparing it to Dirt Rally. That's the issue, because Dirt Rally in my mind it is simply perfect, and WRC in my mind it is simply not. I don't really enjoy the physics engine, but honestly WRC 9 done a great job revamping even further the physics comparing to WRC 8, so they are always going on a better routes than they had before. So if we compare WRC 9 to all the predecessor games, we see that Kilotune have been always improving over time. Each year there is a new WRC game coming out, and they are always improving over the predecessor game. So who knows, sometimes they will catch up to Dirt Rally. We don't really know about that, but still they are doing a great job improving. There are tons of stages in this game, which is a very good extra. We have tons of tracks, tons of different environments, and it even have my country, which is Portugal. So amazing. A lot of tracks there though. Alright, so guys, I think that's all that I want to talk about WRC 9. Basically, if you played WRC 8, WRC 9 doesn't really change that much as expected, since it's only a 1 year difference, and they didn't really revamp it that much, which is something that on WRC 8 they really revamped the game a lot with tons of new stuff, but WRC 9 it is just small improvements and fixes comparing to WRC 8. Alright, so guys, I think that's all again that I want to talk about WRC 9. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Left over 80, and flat right long into finish. 20 left 4 over crest opens, into flat left jump. And left 4 over crest long. Into right 5 short over crest and flat left. Crest into right 5 long, tightens 4, short 30. Left 4. And right 4, keep in, very long over crest 30. Left 5, keep into right 4, tightens over crest. Into left 5 short, 30. Right 4, keep into big jump over crest, 100. Caution, left 4, hard brake, tightens 2, don't cut, 100. Left 5, keep into crest jump, 30. Right 4, tightens over crest, and left 5, keep in, tightens over crest, 80. Right 4, very long, tightens into jump over crest. And left 4 opens, 50. Flat right over crest, jump, 50. Jump, maybe 30. And right 5 tightens short in crest, 30. Into right 5 over crest, big jump, opens. And flat left tightens 5, 50. And left 4 over bumps, into crest, jump. Left 4 short, keep in, and flat right and caution, 40. Right 3 over crest, 30. Caution, right 4 short, bumpy over crest, 200. Left 4 short over crest 50. Over crest right 5, keep into flat left long, tightens 3, don't cut. For crest into right 6, keep into left 5 short. And right 3 opens long. And right 5 short. And jump over crest 60. Caution, right 3 tightens 80. Keep left over crest into right 4 short. And left 6 short 30. Crest, keep middle over jump into flat left 50. Right 6 bumpy over crest into left 3 medium, opens 30. Caution, hard brake for left 2, don't cut. Into flat right over crest 30. Left 5 over crest 70. Left 4 short 100. Jump over crest into flat right, tightens 5, keep in 30. Right 3 tightens, keep in over crest 30. And crest into left 5, keep in 30. Right 4, keep in 30. Right 4 long. Into flat left, short 300 over bumps for finish.